I took a deep breath as another call came in, the urgency evident in the caller's voice. 911. What is your emergency? The man on the other end sounded uneasy. Hi, this might sound weird, but there's a man outside my house. He's acting strange. I leaned in, focusing on gathering the necessary details. Could you describe the situation, sir? There was a pause. Then he continued, his words careful. He's stumbling around in circles like he's lost or something. It's unsettling. I just happened to look out my window and saw him. I quickly noted down his address. Can you confirm your address, sir? 1617 Quarry Lane in Pinella Pass. I reassured him that help was on the way, but his response made me tense. Are you alone in the house? Yes, I am. I urged him to secure all entry points. Make sure all your doors and windows are locked. Stay on the line with me. After a brief silence, he confirmed he would check the back door. His gratitude was palpable, but then the line went quiet. Sir, are you still there? My heart raced as the line crackled to life again. He's still there, but now he's upside down. I tried to keep my voice steady. Stay calm. Help is coming. His fear was evident. His smile, his teeth are so big. Please. You have to hurry. As we waited, he described locking the back door, but then his voice turned frantic. His face is against the glass now. He's staring at me. I urged him to find safety. Lock yourself in a room. Can you do that? Yes, I'm going to lock myself in. But as he moved, a chilling realization hit him. He's moving too. He's telling me I'm not alone. I gripped the receiver tightly, desperately trying to reach him. Sir? Are you still there? But there was no response. This happened to me when I was 9. My friend in the neighborhood found a Ouija board in his brother's stuff while he was away at college. He told me what it was and asked me if I wanted to play it with him. Trying to impress him, I said yes, and we went into his room and tried it out. Nothing happened, and we were left disappointed. Later that week, he called me and told me that he looked up how to use the board properly and wanted to give it another go. I agreed, as I was more confident that nothing would happen. So we grabbed a bunch of scented candles and placed them around the board and did the whole seance stuff. We asked the board if anyone was there, and it, of course, went to yes. We thought the other was messing around, but we agreed to take it seriously because I didn't really care if it was a stupid joke. We asked the ghost what its name was, and it spelled out Owen. My friend asked if it was a person, and it went to no. We asked what it was, and it spelled out demon. I then asked to prove it. You know that call in the intro to Finding Bigfoot? Well, that's the closest thing to what we heard from the garage. Keep in mind, it was only us in the house. It scared the shit out of us, and we ran out of the house. We checked the garage. Nothing. Anyway, a few weeks go by, and he tells me how he is having paranormal experiences. He feels like he is being watched whenever he is downstairs in the kitchen and living room. He feels someone sitting on the end of his bed every night. Every time he walks past the garage, he feels someone grab his wrist and pull it towards the garage. Whenever I went over, I always got the feeling that someone was looking at me from the ceiling. It was definitely unnatural. Then came the scariest part of all. We were at his house playing Army in his room while no one else was home when we began to hear heavy footsteps downstairs, except whatever was making it had hooves. Sounded like a full-grown horse was walking around downstairs. Then we heard someone begin to laugh and cough at the same time. My friend ran over and slammed the door shut, and we hid. He hid under his bed while I hid in his closet. Then it sounded like someone began scratching his door with one big claw, like the ones raptors had on their big toe. He started crying, and I was on the verge of tears. My friend yelled, "Leave us alone, Owen. You're scaring us." It began to stop, and then we heard it run down the stairs. My friend got up and threw me out of the closet and grabbed the Ouija board that was in there with me. He ran down the stairs, ripped the screen door off of his gas fireplace, threw the thing in there, put the screen back on, and went to turn it on. When he was about to turn it on, we heard a loud moan from the basement, which was right behind my friend. He flicked the fireplace on, and the board began to burn. That was the end of that, and we played outside since he was too scared to go back into the house. until his parents got home. My BFF once mentioned to me that her BF could see or feel ghosts or spirits. He's kind of a one-upper, so I brushed it aside and never thought more of it. One Saturday night, we were hanging out at my house, where I lived with my mother at the time. We weren't drinking, just hanging out and chatting. Suddenly, he went very still and silent. My BFF asked him what was wrong. He said he felt a presence in the house, and it was very strong. He told us to keep chatting like we were, and he was going to feel for it. BFF and I returned to gossiping. A while later, he speaks and mentions the spirit is in the kitchen, and it appears to be male. At least to him it does. He says it doesn't feel like other spirits though, more like a good presence or guardian angel type deal. I still don't really believe him, so I start asking questions. He says the entity is definitely related to my family and that he is young. Then suddenly, he turns to me and asks, "Did your mom have a miscarriage?" The blood drained from my face, and I got goosebumps everywhere. My mother miscarried a child before me. It would have been a boy, my older brother. There is no way he would have known that about my mother, because my BFF had no idea either. Then he said, "Had she named him?" He's trying to tell me his name. It starts with an A. I started trembling. My mom had told me she had planned to name him Alex. He went on to explain how he believes it is my unborn older brother, and he's a guardian angel figure to my mother. He assumed he was there at that time to watch over her. It was unbelievably scary and accurate, because at the time, my mother was going through a really rough time, depression. I never doubted his ability after that. When I told my mother about what had happened the next day, she was sobbing and always thought that the presence she felt by her side was her grandfather, whom she had always been close to, not her unborn older son. I still get chills to this day just thinking about it. Years ago, two friends and I were camping in the fall in a small tent, staggered with two of our heads on one side and one on the other. It was a silent and still night with fog developing in the moist woods. What sounds like a muffled voice on a cell phone starts coming out from the center of the tent between all our heads. I heard someone keep asking, "Hello, can you hear me? Hello." My friend asks, "Are you hearing that?" At once, we all sit up and start shuffling around in the tent looking for the phone. There is no phone in the tent. I look to my friend on the other side of the tent and ask what they heard. It sounded like someone saying, "Hello, can you hear me?" We all agree this is what we heard, and that the sound was coming from the other side of the tent. The next morning, we find all our cell phones sitting in the car still, and there's no cell reception at the campground. Still sends shivers up my spine.